Hello everyone! The main story Chapter 5 update with Wilbell and Neo is finally here, and I am here to give you all the details on the update itself as well as the banner units, Wilbell and Neo. So first off, I'm just going to go through the update really quickly. There are a few things added. I will have a separate video on the training research that was added. That's the level sync feature, so look forward to that. We also got chapter packs. These are paid gem packs, which give stamina cookies and experience. I'll go through those. We got an update to the Affinity Tower. So Affinity Tower goes up to floor 15 now. It actually only went up to floor 10 before. On Japan, we have it released with up to floor 20. When I made my video on Affinity Tower before, we assumed it went up to floor 20, but we found out it actually only went up to floor 10. Now you can do it up to floor 15. I assume for most people this doesn't really matter. I know that Wind 10 has been cleared on global. I don't know of any others. Personally, I haven't made progress in it because my account has barely done any pulls, so I just don't have the units, but maybe with all the tickets we're getting soon, I'll be able to go clear some more of them, do some streams on that. That'll be pretty fun. We also got new difficulties for experience and coal quests. The master experience quest is guaranteed 4 blue candies and sometimes gives orange candies. Very, very good for getting experience for your characters. And then, as well as that, we have chapter 5 of the story and the new banner with Wilbell and Neo, and this will be going on for the next 10 days or so. Other than that, we have some patch notes here, increased party limit. We've added photo mode. You can definitely check out photo mode. You'll be able to see it from your character menu. I can show that. And we also have trial battles on the gacha. I'll go over what that is as well. And that's about it. So along with the update, we also got 10 tickets in the mail for the current banner for free. Very cool. We're getting a lot of tickets recently. That's great. And as well, we have all the shop stuff. So I'll go through that first, get the tickets, and then we can go over the banner units and I will do my pulls. All right, so bundles. Let me just get the tickets real quick. I personally think this banner is a skip for most people. I'll go more into that later, but you can buy the tickets if you like them. I think tickets are fine. So we have the chapter packs here. There's one for each chapter, and in the future, they will release one of these with every single chapter. So, chapter 1, 200 paid gems, 10 cookies, etc. up to, 800 paid gems, 40 cookies. They're all about the same value. The higher one does get a little bit better in terms of XP and coal, but the cookies are the same value. It's 10 per 200 gems. If you, want to support the game, this amount of cookies for this amount of gems is good value, but it's not as good value as, say, the monthly pass we get in the future for, what you're paying for, right? So it's really up to you. But, these cookies, they accelerate your progression. They're not bad. So, pretty cool addition. And, yeah, that's about it for the shop stuff. And let's see. We will just go ahead and go straight into the banner info. I'm sure this is what you're all waiting for. First, we have the trial battle. So you go here. You can just auto through these. It's basically to show off the characters and just see what they do. They're kind of scripted things. You can just auto through them. You get reset elixirs for your first time clearing them, so they are worth doing. You get one for each, one for Neo and one for Wilbell, so pretty cool. Let's go ahead and look at the characters now. I will start with the Memoria. The Memoria is a pretty standard magic attack statted Memoria with 30% magic attack, 4% speed, and its effect is attacker area damage up. So while equipped to an attacker, boosts area attack skill damage. This Memoria is pretty mediocre. The art is top tier. I love the art. They're super cute. I mean, look at that. Don't you want a sleeping Izana on your lap? I don't know. But yeah, the effect itself is pretty mid because it's super, super niche, right? It's not a generic effect, and more generic Memoria effects will be 52% skill damage. This one only gets a slight boost for being limited to area attacks, and that's so it's like not really a target for your memory crystals, right? So basically it's a good magic, like generic magic attack Memoria, but the effect itself isn't great. So for a limited Memoria, not really worth chasing at all, right? So pretty mediocre Memoria. Now we'll start with Neo. I have called Neo a skip character before. I still more or less agree with that. She is a strike defender. Her passives are fairly mediocre, being 5% defense and burn resistance, so they don't really do anything. Her gift is probably the more interesting part of her. She gives enhanced physical magical resistance up D as her synthesis trait for equipment. If you've watched my video on traits, this specific trait is very good for characters like Lent and Linka if you're making gear for them, and she is the only character with this trait, so she is good in that regard. However, that gear is not particularly meta. It's mostly for doing really like difficult tower content while underleveled. So she is a good character to have for synthesis, but she is not a meta character for synthesis, and you won't miss having her that much. Now, as far as her skills go, her skill 1, actually I should note before I get into skills, her passives, she is a defender. Defenders have taunt on their passives usually. Neo doesn't have taunt as part of her passives. This means she will not be targeted first before everyone else. And this is kind of the main reason she's considered fairly weak as a defender. And it'll make more sense why she is that way after going through her kit. Basically, her skill 1, after attacking, she reduces her damage received by a small amount for 3 turns, this doesn't really matter, and grants protection to self for 3 turns. I don't know why they chose to call this protection. This is the cover ability. Basically, when an ally is targeted, Neo will intercept that attack when using her skill 1. So it's basically like a conditional taunt, right? She doesn't have taunt by default, but she has a guaranteed taunt on her skill 1 for, 3 attacks. So it's okay, but it won't affect, enemies being faster, like they'll still get through before she can use skill 1, and it's just kind of awkward. She is solid in niche scenarios, like when enemies ignore taunt, she gets around that, I believe. Someone correct me if that's wrong. I'm pretty sure that's how she works, but unfortunately I don't have her on JP, so I've never actually used her. She is not used very often, I will say that much. But I believe that's how it works. So she's really solid for niche scenarios where that ability to intercept certain attacks is very useful. But because she doesn't have passive taunt on all the time, it really diminishes her value as a defender. On top of that, she doesn't have good self-healing, good sustain, so she can't heal herself back up after getting hit a bunch. And yeah, she just ends up being kind of a weak defender. Her skill 2 is a very, very large area damage reduction for all allies. So reduce all allies' damage received by 24% for 1 attack. This is a objectively very strong skill. There's not really many ways you can scale it because it's only scaled by generic buff effect. It's not scaled, for example, by this trait, which only boosts the potency of specifically received physical damage down. And this is or magic damage down, and this is a generic damage down. So it's not scaled by the trait. It is scaled by things like the staff from the Salberg event. But it's hard to scale. It is a pretty solid chunk of damage reduction, but it does only last for 1 attack, so it can be very good for getting through a specific like large area hit threshold in certain content. But even then, its application is generally fairly limited. And then she also, her burst has it gives a buff that restores all allies' HP by 14% at the start of the turn for 5 turns. So this is a total heal of 70% to all allies. However, it's delayed and it doesn't have any upfront heal. I consider this burst to be very weak, and you generally don't want to use it very often. It's still like okay healing, but because of no upfront healing on it, it doesn't really get you out of tight situations, right? It's something you want to use early and then hope it's enough to like sustain your team through the rest of the fight. So overall, as a defender, her kit is fairly weak, and we get much better defenders very later on. So she's kind of a skip in my opinion. And then we have Wilbell, everyone's favorite little witch from the Dusk series. She's very cute. In fact, there was a bit of a funny story about Wilbell. So on the Japanese version of the game, you know, when Halloween was coming up, everyone was wondering, like, who's going to be the Halloween unit, right? Obviously, on Global, we're not getting the Halloween banner. It's been skipped for this one. But on JP, we were very much like, okay, Halloween's the first seasonal coming up. Who's it going to be? And a lot of people thought it would be Wilbell. She's a witch. It fits, right? So Halloween comes and goes, actually, and there's still no Halloween banner. They actually posted the Halloween banner on November 1st, believe it or not, which is very funny. And it's Prap. It's Pravda, not Wilbell. And everyone's like, what the heck? Everyone, like, I didn't expect it to be Wilbell personally. It seems too obvious, but it's still kind of funny. But then the next banner right after, they released Wilbell, and everyone's just like, why didn't they do Wilbell on Halloween? It was pretty funny at the time. Anyways, she is a fire area attacker, so kind of a similar in role to the free Resna, but much stronger. She has a passive where she boosts skill damage by 20% for allies with fire affinity, so that'll apply to herself and then other fire allies like Ryza, like Resna. If you're stacking that much fire on your team, it's a nice little boost. It's not a ton, but it's decent. Then just a generic resistance up, which doesn't matter. And then for gifts, magic damage boost, so her gifts don't matter. You don't really use her in synthesis. And how about her skills? So her skills are where she really shines. She is an area attacker. Her skill 1 is a single target attack, which reduces the target's fire resistance by 20%. That is a lot for a skill 1. That's a pretty good skill 1 debuff. However, it's kind of awkward. She's not a debuffer herself. You really want to be attacking with her. By the time that she can go again, you know, that fire resistance buff will probably be consumed by your other characters, generally, right? So it's good in combination with like Ryza, but it's not really great for herself, but it is a strong debuff. Her skill 2, it's an area attack, so it hits all enemies. It has a decent amount of power for an area attack. It's stronger than Muse, I believe. Maybe not. No, I think it's actually around the same. Sorry. It's Izana's that's actually stronger. Izana comes later. Her skill 2 is busted. Wilbell should be around the same as Muse. And it boosts her own skill damage by an amount depending on how many enemies there are for 3 turns, which is a lot. So as the battle goes on, this ramps up by quite a bit. So if there are 3 enemies, it's a 30% boost. If there's 1 enemy, it's a 10% boost. And it lasts for 3 turns, which is pretty good. So after the first attack, 30%, second attack, 60%, third attack, 90%, right? If there are 3 enemies alive at that point. So pretty solid skill 2 for area damage. And then she also has an area burst. This is a standard area burst damage rate at 300%. And it gets a 100% boost if there's 3 enemies. So very, very, very strong damage boost on the burst. She is the strongest area burst character that we will have for a while, just with all of these damage boosts that she has. In my opinion, I think Christmas Resna is better. However, it's seeming like we're not getting seasonal events, so Christmas Resna is kind of out of the picture. That said, even though she is the strongest area burster we'll have, area attacker in general, she is not quite good enough to be worth pulling for, in my opinion, unless you really like the character. I mean, if you really like her, go for it. Obviously, you won't regret it. She's really solid. But we have a lot of really strong banners coming up. Like Liddy is the next banner, followed by Master Ryza, followed by Izana. They're all stronger characters than Wilbell. I don't recommend pulling for her. If you want, you can use tickets. That's what I'm going to do. But yeah, basically she's pretty middle of the pack, so she's good. Her speed's fine. Solid magical attacker for AoE, but when it comes down to it, she just ends up being worse than other options that are coming very soon. So yeah, basically this banner's a skip. But tickets are cool, and I'll go ahead and do my ticket pulls now. Let's just get started with the one free for the day. And hopefully it's not Tau. I always like to wait for the winks. Oh, we got one, so we can watch the animation. It probably means nothing, but, you know, they make me feel better. Alright. Yeah. As expected, just your normal bad daily pull. But we do have 30 tickets, though. Maybe we can pull something good. And go. This account still hasn't done very many pulls, so I am missing a lot of characters. Hey, we got the Winx. Very nice. Whee. By the way, I love this song. Oh, we definitely got a 3-star, I think. Oh wait, Oscar wasn't there, so maybe not. If you see all the characters, like, it usually means 3-star, but this one's iffy. It could not be. But yeah, this song is sung by Shimotsuki Haruka, who is one of my favorite singers of all time, so I really like listening to it. Like, my favorite gacha animation. Gacha sequence. But yeah, this pull could be very good. Let's see. It could also just be disappointment. Oh. Oh crap, I have voices off. Oh no. Oh my god, I got Logi. Logi's actually a dupe. I got him the other day from Tickets as well. Ooh, a double. And... oh my god, it's Fierce, yes! I really need to turn the voices back on. I have them off because I turned them off for my synthesis video so they weren't playing in the background. It really lowers the hype of the moment, doesn't it? It's my bad. I love Fierce though. Fierce is my absolute favorite, so I am glad to have her. She will also enable me to do Wind Tower now, so that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. Let me just go turn the voices on real quick, in case we get another character. Alright, fixed that. Yeah, very happy with that pull, actually. No banner characters yet, but I love Fierce. Glad to finally have her on this account. Oh, we only got one Wink this time. It's doomed, for sure. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and skip through this then. Not expecting anything here. Oh, we did get a Memoria. That's pretty nice. This is one of the better Memoria in the permanent pool, being 30% magic attack and 6% speed. Very, very solid magic attacker Memoria. Very happy to have that because I did not yet have a good magical attacker Memoria, so really good pickup there. And the last pull. Here it is. And only one Wink again. Oh, just Oscar? Who knows what that means, right? The gacha animation is so funny. There are some that like absolutely guarantee things, and there are a bunch that are just like, maybe you got lucky, who knows? Wait and find out. So we'll see. The suspense is killing me. Even if this one is bad though, I'm pretty happy with the pulls today. Yeah, lots of SRs so far. But nothing particularly good. Alright, cool. And that'll be it for my pulls on this one. I'm not committing any gems here for Wilbell, unfortunately. Maybe I'll get lucky with the daily pulls. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, that's it for this video. Pretty happy with those pulls. They're pretty good. I hope you all enjoyed the new content, especially Chapter 5 of the story. I think it starts... This chapter, in my opinion, is a little slow, but it starts getting pretty good after this point. I mean, it's already pretty good, and it just ramps up from here. So I hope you all enjoy it, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.